Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रयोजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन बेबीटे फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवर्जकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे समवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। समवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री गुरु गौरांग की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 9, Text number 17. Loko vikrama nirata kushale pramatta karmani ayam twadudite bhavadarchane svai यस्तावदस्य बलवान् यः जीवितांशम् सद्यश्चिनत्ति अनिमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै। लोको विक्रमनिरत कुशले प्रमत्त कर्मणि अयं त्वदुदिते भवदर्चने स्वे यस्तावदस्य बलवान् यः जीवितांशम् सद्यश्चिनत्ति अनिमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै। लोको विक्रमनिरत कुशले प्रमत्त कर्मणि अयं त्वदिदुते भवदर्चने स्वै यस्तावदस्य बलवान् यः जीवितांशम् सज्जश्चिनत्ति अनिमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै। माता जी। Actually, it is Loko Vikarma. I read Loko Vikarma, please forgive me. So now, synonyms. Loka, people in general. Vikarma, work without sense. Nirata, engaged in. Kushale, in beneficial activity. Pramatta, negligent. Karmani, inactivity. Ayam, this. Tvat, by you. Udite, enunciated. Bhavat, of you. Archane, in worship. Sway, their own. Yah, who. Tavad, as long as. Asya, of the people in general. Balavan, very strong. Iha, this. Jivita, asham, struggle for existence. Sadhya, directly. Chinatti is cut to pieces. Animishaya, by the eternal time. Nama, my obeisances. Astu, let there be. Tasmai, unto him. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. People in general all engage in foolish acts, not in the really beneficial activities enunciated directly by you for their guidance. As long as their tendency for foolish work remains powerful, all their plans in the struggle for existence will be cut to pieces. I therefore offer my obeisances unto Him who acts as eternal time. Purport. People in general are all engaged in senseless work. They are systematically unmindful of the real beneficial work, which is the devotional service of the Lord, technically called as Archana regulations. The Archana regulations are directly instructed by the Lord in the Pancharatra and are strictly followed by the intelligent men who know well that the highest perfectional goal of life is to reach Lord Vishnu, who is the root of the tree called the cosmic manifestation. Also, in the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita, such regulative activities are clearly mentioned. Foolish people do not know that their self-interest is in realization of Vishnu. Bhagavatam says, Matirna Krishne Parato Svatova Mithopi Paddeta Grahavratanam Adanta Gobhir Vishatam Tamishram Punascharvita Charvananam Nate Vidu Swartha Gatim Hi Vishnu Durashayaye Bahirarthamanina Andhayathandair Upagiyamana Tepi Ishu Tantriam Urudhamni Baddha Naisham Tav Matistavad Urukramangrir Sprushyat Tanartho Upagamo Yadartha Mahiyasam Padardobhishekam Nishkinjananam na Runita Yavat. Persons who are determined to totally rot in false material happiness cannot become Krishna-minded either by instructions from the teachers, by self-realization, or by parliamentary discussions. They are dragged by the unbridled senses into the darkest region of ignorance, and thus they madly engage in what is called chewing the chew. Because of their foolish activities, they are unaware that the ultimate goal of human life is to achieve Vishnu, the Lord of the cosmic manifestation. And so their struggle for existence is in the wrong direction of material civilization, which is onto the external energy. They are led by similar foolish persons, just as one blind man is led by another blind man, and both fall in the ditch. Such foolish men cannot be attracted towards the activities of the Supreme Powerful, who is actually the neutralizing measure for their foolish activities, unless and until they have the good sense to be guided by the great souls who are completely freed from material attachments. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord asks everyone to give up all other occupational duties and absolutely engage in archana activities or in pleasing the Lord. But almost no one is attracted to such archana activity. Everyone is more or less attracted by the activities which are conditions of rebellion against the Supreme Lord. The systems of jnana and yoga are also indirectly rebellious acts against the Lord. There is no auspicious activity except archana of the Lord. Jnana and yoga are sometimes accepted within the purview of archana when the ultimate aim is Vishnu and not otherwise. The conclusion is that only the devotees of the Lord are bona fide human beings eligible for salvation. Others are vainly struggling for existence without any actual benefit. Hare Krishna. So, all are welcome to hear and chant the glories of the Lord this morning, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Thanks for coming. And we are discussing from this 3rd canto, 19th chapter. And in today's verse, Lord Brahma is offering loving prayers at the lotus feet of the Lord, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who is none other than his Father, eternal Father and Master. And in today's verse, Lord Brahma is speaking about the futile endeavor of the living entities to enjoy this material existence, which is temporary. And Prabhupada is mentioning how the Lord is not at all approving these futile endeavors of the living entities to enjoy this material existence. And instead, the Lord is asking them to render devotional service, which is the perfection of life. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada emphasizes about 2 points which we heard, that so many times Prabhupada is emphasizing on archana, archana and archana, so many times. And also Srila Prabhupada speaks about eternal time, that is time factor. So today we'll discuss about these 2 points, the archana regulations, that means deity worship, and also how the time factor is acting on everyone. And also we'll discuss something very special, that is one glorious devotee, Srila Prabhupada disciples, who actually rendered pure devotional service at the lotus feet of their lordships. So first we'll discuss about archana. So in the 7th canto, Prahlad Maharaj himself is speaking, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. And in this, for the purport to this verse, Srila Prabhupada is elaborately speaking about archana. I thought of summarizing it and speaking about it, but I later on decided that we should just directly hear from Srila Prabhupada. So let us hear, this is a very important purport written by Srila Prabhupada as far as archana is concerned. So the 5th item of these 9 items, which are 9-fold devotional service, the 5th one is archana. And here Srila Prabhupada very elaborately explaining about what is archana. After Padasevanam comes the process of Archanam, worship of the deity. If one is interested in the process of Archanam, one must positively take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and learn the process from him. There are many books for Archana, especially Narada Pancharatra. In this age, the Pancharatra system is particularly recommended for Archana, deity worship. There are two types of Archana, the Bhagavata system of Pancharatrika system and Pancharatrika system. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is no recommendation of Pancharatrika worship because in this Kali Yuga, even without deity worship, everything can be perfectly performed simply through hearing, chanting, remembering and worship of the lotus feet of the Lord. Rupa Goswami states, Sri Vishnur Shravane Parikshid Avavad Vagyasaki Kirtane Prahlada Smarane Tad Angri Bhajane Lakshmi Prathu Pujane Akkururastvad Abhivandane Kapipatir Dasyetha Sakhe Arjuna Sarvatna Nivedane Balir Abhut Krishnaptir Esham Param. Parikshit Maharaj attained salvation simply by hearing, and Shukdev Goswami attained salvation simply by chanting. Prahlad Maharaj attained salvation by remembering the Lord. The goddess of fortune Lakshmi Devi attained perfection by worshipping the Lord's lotus feet. Prithu Maharaj attained salvation by worshipping the deity of the Lord. Akrura attained salvation by offering prayers. Hanuman by rendering service. Arjuna by establishing friendship with the Lord. And Bali Maharaj by offering everything to the service of the Lord. All these great devotees served the Lord according to a particular process, but every one of them attained salvation and became eligible to return home back to Godhead. This is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is therefore recommended that initiated devotees follow the principles of Narada Pancharatra by worshipping the deity in the temple, especially the householder devotees who are opulent in material possessions. The path of deity worship is strongly recommended. An opulent householder devotee who does not engage his hard-earned money in the service of the Lord is called a miser. One should not engage paid brahmanas to worship the deity. If one does not personally worship the deity but engages paid servants instead, he is considered lazy and his worship of the deity is called artificial. An opulent householder can collect luxurious paraphernalia for deity worship, and consequently for householder devotees the worship of the deity is compulsory. In our Krishna consciousness movement, there are brahmacharis, grahasthas, vanaprasthas and sannyasis. But the deity worship in the temple should be performed especially by the householders. The brahmacharis can go with the sannyasis to preach, and the vanaprasthas should prepare themselves for the next status of renounced life, sannyas. Grahastha devotees, however, are generally engaged in material activities, and therefore, if they do not take to deity worship, their falling down is positively assured. Their falling down is positively assured. Deity worship means following the rules and regulations precisely. That will keep one steady in devotional service. Generally, householders have children, and the wives of the householder should be engaged in caring for the children. Just as women acting as teachers care for the children in a nursery school. Grahastha devotees must adopt the Archana Vidhi or deity worship according to the suitable arrangements and directions given by the spiritual master. Regarding those unable to take to the deity worship in the temple, there is a following statement in Agni Purana. Any household or devotee circumstantially unable to worship the deity must at least see the deity worship, and in this way he may achieve success also. The special purpose of deity worship is to keep oneself always pure and clean. Grahastha devotees should be actual examples of cleanliness. Deity worship should be continued along with the hearing and chanting. Therefore, every mantra is preceded by the word Namaha. In all the mantras, there are specific potencies of which the Grahastha devotees must take advantage. There are many mantras preceded by the word Namaha, but if one chants the holy name of the Lord, he receives the result of chanting Namaha many times. By chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can reach the platform of love of Godhead. One might ask then, what is the necessity of being initiated? The answer is that even though the chanting of the holy name is sufficient to enable one to progress in spiritual life to the standard of love of Godhead, one is nonetheless susceptible to the contamination because of possessing a material body. Consequently, special stress is given to the Archana Vidhi. One should therefore regularly take advantage of both the Bhagavata process and Pancharatriki Vidhi. Of course, the purport continues. So now we'll try to understand from today's verse. That how we heard how much Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing the deity worship, especially for Grahastha devotees. And if one cannot do deity worship, then at least one should come to the temple and at least see the deity worship taking place. So that is what is the recommendation of Srila Prabhupada. So therefore it is explained that karma is all about actions, jnana is all about wisdom, yoga is all about perfection, and bhakti is all about intention. In the sense that all other processes, karma, jnana and yoga, one is very busy performing some so-called activities which may not bear fruit ultimately. However, devotional service, bhakti, is all about intentions. One may not be physically, for someone it may not be physically possible to actually render devotional service. But at least he is trying his level best. At least he has that intention to offer loving devotional service to the Lord. Even if one is unable to worship deities at home, still one can come and take darshan of the deities, and thus his life will also be perfect. So therefore Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna personally speaks about this process of bhakti. Bhaktyanam abhijanati yavanya shashvitatvata tato mam tattoto gyatva vishade tadanantaram. That means the one and only process to know the Supreme Lord is bhakti, devotional service. And when one renders service, accepting devotional service as one's life and soul, then Vishade Tadanantaram, he will become eligible to enter into the kingdom of God. That is the words of God. So this Archana Vidhi which we follow has been explained by Narayana, Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, as Srila Prabhupada spoke in that purport. So this Pancharatra is Paddhati spoken none other than Lord Vishnu himself to Narada Muni in 5 consecutive nights. Therefore it is called as Narada Pancharatra. The process of deity worship explained by Narayana to Narada Muni for 5 continuous nights. So in this book, it is explained that how Lord is existing eternally in the spiritual world, who is known as Para. Para is that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami, who is enacting his beautiful pastimes in the realm of Goloka Vrindavan, along with his pure devotees. That means we have no access to that Supreme Lord. If at all we want to worship him, there is no access. It is not possible because he is up there and we are in this material world very much struggling. And then comes Yuha. Yuha is the four Chatur Yuha, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha and Vasudeva. Lord expands himself into four other these incarnations which are known as Yuhas, which are also in the spiritual realm which we have no access to. Then comes Vibhava. Vibhava is something that when time and again Lord wants to establish the religious principles, he comes to this material world in the form of his incarnation. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhidhanam adharmasya tadatmanam srujamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrita dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Krishna very openly declares in Bhagavad Gita how he is so keen to come to this material world time and again to establish the process of devotional service and religious principles. And these incarnations come whenever they want to come, and if at all we are fortunate enough, then we may come in contact with these incarnations. But at present, we may not be so fortunate to directly to come in contact with these incarnations. At least the last incarnation, which was around 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya personally came. But now we are here after 500 years of Lord Chaitanya's descent into this material world. So that means we have no direct access to even incarnations. And then comes the fourth one, Antaryami, which is at least we have close connection. That is Lord sitting in the heart as Paramatma. And although he speaks, but our activities and the sound of our activities is so loud that even when the Paramatma speaks out, because of our own activities and so much of noise we have created ourselves, we cannot hear the sound of Paramatma, which is right there within our heart, isn't it? Ruddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. Bhagavad Gita speaks that how Lord is right there sitting next to us. We are the spirit soul, and next to spirit soul is sitting the Paramatma. And we are unable to hear his voice also. Of course, pure devotees, they are so pure that Lord personally speaks to them. But those who are conditioned, they just cannot hear the words of Paramatma. And then comes the most merciful incarnation, which is known as Archa Murti, which are present right in front of us. Their Lordship Sri Radha Gopinath, along with their dear devotees, Lalita, Vishakha Devi, and so many other devotees. So they are right there in front of us, just so that we can come and take their darshan, offer our prayers, and render some devotional service. Many times it so happens that whenever we have to eat something, then we remember Krishna, because we have been told anything we should eat, it should be offered to Krishna. Then we search, where is the deity here? Where is the deity here? Because I have to eat now. I have to eat that, I have to first show to this deity, because that has been told. So let me find out if there is any deity here. So then we think of deities. And if no deity is available, then we find some photograph of deities. At least we should offer something to the deity. That's also we have heard. We just directly cannot eat. Okay, if there is no deity available, photograph also is not available, then we think of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Because we heard that we can also offer our bhoga and our offerings and then arati and your prayers also to the books of Bhagavatam and such Vedic literatures, Bhagavad Gita. And this is our state of affair in that sense that only when we have to eat something, then we think of Krishna. But the Lord is not that kind of a person or a machine which converts bhoga into Mahaprasad. Of course, He does it out of His great concern for us, but also He is there to accept our prayers and accept our devotional service. So therefore, thanks to Srila Prabhupada, who has created such wonderful oases all over the world in the form of his temples, where perfect deity worship is taking place, and people in general, devotees and everyone can come and they can take beautiful darshan and then perfect their lives. And if they are more enthusiastic and more fortunate, they can actually render devotional service. In other traditional temples, what we see is that only a particular class of people who are in heritage, they only can offer worship to the deities. However, it is so wonderful system created by Srila Prabhupada in ISKCON that anybody who walks into these doors can one day start worshipping the deities. Is it not? We also walked through these doors one day some years ago. We never thought that we'll also start worshipping the deities. But at least to speak out myself, I didn't have any qualification to even come to the temple. But I came and then I saw their lordships, and then I was so moved by their wonderful reciprocation that at last they are engaging me and so many other devotees into their devotional service. That is how these archa forms are so very important, so that we can actually render devotional service. And of course, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya personally speaks that Pratima nehi tumi sakshat Brajendra Nandana Vipralagi kara tumi akarya karana. This is very important. The Lord Chaitanya is speaking about the deity of Sakshi Gopal. He is saying that Pratima nehi tumi sakshat Brajendra. You are not an ordinary statue. You are Sakshat Krishna, Brajendra Nandan, the son of Nanda Maharaj. But what is the speciality of this deity or any deity? Vipralagi karatumi akarya karan. Vipra, that one Brahmana who actually took oath in front of the deity, for that person, Lord personally walked from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri, which is at least thousands of kilometers. So generally deities, they don't walk or talk. But if time permits, if it is necessary, then they do that also with their pure devotees. And we cannot expect and we cannot demand, okay, you did that to so many devotees, why don't you reciprocate with us also? Of course, Lord can do that provided we have that pure devotional sentiments within our hearts. So we are lacking so much. That is the reason why He is not directly Lord reciprocating with that. But that is not a problem at all, because He is there in front of us. But at the same time, we can also render so many devotional services. So this is how deity worship is so very important. Srila Prabhupada has given this wonderful process to hear and chant, also do this worship. And Prabhupada actually mentioned in the purport that if hearing and chanting is sufficient, then why can't we just go on with that? And why we need to do this archana or deity worship also? Of course, Prabhupada explains in the purport that our material bodies, our minds are so polluted that we just cannot concentrate our minds on hearing and chanting. So therefore, we have to take some support system. So this deity worship archana paddhati, which actually gives a lot of support so that we can hear and chant nicely. It acts as a support system. Just like as a catalyst in any chemical process, chemical reaction, if you mix two substances together, they will react and there will be a third product. However, if you want to expedite the process, then you add some catalyst into that. And that catalyst is some kind of small substance or some liquid or whatever. Just by putting that catalyst, third element into the chemical process, the chemical process becomes quick and very fast. Then you can actually find the result quickly. Otherwise, it might take longer time. So therefore, hearing and chanting is sufficient to go back to the spiritual world, to perfect our lives. However, we may not be so pure to actually hear and chant as per the description given in the scriptures. Therefore, just so that we should not spend long time hearing and chanting and feel frustrated, the Lord is so merciful, Acharyas are so merciful, they have given this Archana Paddhati, which will actually expedite our process of going back to Godhead and perfecting our lives. So therefore, this Archana Paddhati is very, very important. So this is all about Archana, and of course there is many more things to speak about. However, we'll go to our next point, which is time factor, which has been emphasized by Srila Prabhupada in today's purport. In Bhagavad Gita, we hear how Krishna personally speaks about himself in the form of time factor. Kalosmi lokaksha krit pravruddho. Bhagavad Gita, very famous verse. Krishna says, I am that time I am, devouring everything and everyone. So this Kala is something which conditioned living entities cannot fathom. But we can see the effect of time. Once I had gone to my hometown after long years. I met my family, especially my brother's children. And when they saw me, they called me, Uncle, how are you? I said, I look like uncle? They should have at least told me Prabhuji or something. They are calling me directly uncle. So that means I never realized myself that I am also growing old. Is it not? We always think ourselves as what we are. Of course, we are living entity, we are spirit souls. We are ageless in that sense, but still there is effect of time. We also become old. And then I started really understanding. I think I should also understand the time factor which is acting upon me. Is it not? It happens all the time. And many times whenever we walk outside, and especially in trains also, and there's so many crowd, so much of crowd, people are just pouring in and pouring out. Then uncle, jaldi chalo, jaldi niklo, train niklega. Huh? We have heard it so many times. People call us uncles. That means time is acting on everyone. So this is the effect of time. And once Srila Prabhupada was in France, Paris, and he was talking to devotees, morning walk, and then I think they were coming to Eiffel Tower, the famous Eiffel Tower. Then Prabhupada was asking, and here this is France, Paris, the famous city in the world. And Napoleon Bonaparte, who is so-called establisher of this city, or he worked so hard to create Paris and France. And he used to say that, I am Napoleon, and this is France, created by me. Then Prabhupada said, France is here, but where is Napoleon? Where is he? He is no more to be seen here. He is out. That means we all come into this material world and we stay for some time and we start thinking that, okay, I am the cause of so many things. But time factor is so very forceful that so many people came and so many people have gone, but still the material world is running. And once I heard this beautiful explanation given by one devotee, the effect of time and how to perceive time. Although it is very difficult, but still we can, through this example, we can understand how one can perceive time, or at least try to fathom the time. So if you want to know what is the duration of 5 years and importance of 5 years, ordinary people will never realize this. But if you want to know the importance of 5 years, then you should meet a politician. Because he knows what is 5 years is all about. Because if he wins, then it's okay. If he loses, then he has to wait for 5 more years. Hopefully. Otherwise, sometimes they want to expedite their process, so they do so many things. But otherwise, they have to wait for 5 continuous years. Is it not? So they know the value of 5 years. In America, not 5 years, only 4 years are sufficient, because their elections come once in 4 years, isn't it? In India, it is 5 years. But in other countries, especially in America, it is only 4 years. If you want to know the importance of 4 years, then you can ask those politicians who are in America. So then, if you want to know the importance of 1 year, then you should ask a student who has just failed in his exam, isn't it? Because he has to sit down into those classes and hear so many classes, the same subject, same school, same desk and same teachers, everything same, but the time is running, isn't it? So that is the effect of time. So 1 year is better understood by a student than other people. And if you want to know the importance of 9 months, of course, mothers understand the importance of 9 months, what it means to bear the child for 9 continuous months within one's own womb. Otherwise, nobody can understand the importance of 9 months, isn't it? So similarly, if you want to know the importance of 1 month, we can ask those who are salaried people, isn't it? Because they draw their salaries and they have to maintain the family for 1 continuous month, isn't it? Within few days of getting their salary, the money is finished. But they have to continuously take care of their family for 1 continuous month. So they know the value of 1 month. So that is a time factor. And if you want to know the value of 1 week, then we can consult somebody who is working for, office goer. Office goer, they work so hard for 5 days. Previously they used to work for 6 days. Now, understanding their struggles, they are working for 5 days. And while working for 5 days, they are always meditating on 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday. And previously it was not like that. Nowadays it is becoming more of a prevalent. And even devotees, we also have to think of Saturdays and Sundays. Saturday, Sunday. Why, Because if you have to catch these people, they are not available on other weekdays. You have to catch them only on Saturdays and Sundays. So that we also sometimes plan our yatras and our programs, or even Janmashtami, whatever, everything, whatever happens should happen only on Saturdays or Sundays. Otherwise, people are just not available. So that is the importance of 1 week. The office goer knows, and also devotees, the preachers, they know. And what is the importance of 1 day? Who understands? The daily wager, One who works from morning till evening and gets their salary for the day. And they go and then they purchase some eatables and then they eat and they go to sleep. And again they have to work, get up in the morning and go to work and get their salary, daily wages. So they understand the value of 1 day. And who can understand the importance of 2 hours? 2 hours? Those who are chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Isn't it? We perfectly understand the importance of 2 hours. For some people it is 1.5 hours, for some people it is 1 hour only. So according to their speed, they realize the importance of 1 hour, 1.5 hour, 1 hour 40 minutes, some people 2 hours, some 2.5 hours, some people 3 hours. According to their capacity, they will understand the importance of each hour or like that. But if you want to know the importance of 10 seconds, whom should we consult? Huh? Yes, Olympic, the runners, isn't it? 100 meters. How much is the latest time? 9 seconds and whatever, isn't it? So that is how much they value each second, the Olympic gold medalist, the 100-meter runners. So, similarly, you can also understand the importance of 10 seconds. And if you consult these people, who are they? Who have just missed their trains or buses, isn't it? Just within few seconds, we miss so many times the buses and trains, but we should not run after because another train is anyway going to come, isn't it? In Mumbai, we say that. Don't go after a running train, another train will come. Similarly, what is the importance of 1 second or 1/12 of a second? This we all know, isn't it? 1/12 of a second. Gopis. Gopis of Vrindavan, isn't it? They are so time conscious that they were cursing Lord Brahma because he created these eye lashes, because every time and every now and then they flap, and when they have to look at Krishna, Krishna is so beautiful, it's so enchanting, so attractive. So they were understanding, they were saying that 1/12 of a second, that is called a nimisha. And therefore we sing in the morning, Yugaitam nimishena praksha chavrashaitam Shunyaitam jagat sarvam Govinda virahena me. So in separation from Govinda, Lord Krishna, 1 second or 1/12 of a second look like 1 millennium. That is the feeling of pure devotees, Lord Chaitanya and Gopis. So that is the importance of time each people we have, or this eternal time in the form of Krishna. So this is all about time factor, which is set into motion by the Supreme Lord. So we have limited amount of time, so it is up to us how we utilize this valuable time. Therefore it is said, time and tide wait for nobody, none. So therefore the time is up, time is ticking. Now how we utilize this time determines our destination. So and recently, in the last I was contemplating on this Ekadashi, Indira Ekadashi. Previous Ekadashi was Indira Ekadashi, which we observed 15 days ago, around 14 days ago. So now the next Ekadashi is going to come, I think, after 2-3 days, which is Papa Mochani Ekadashi. So this Indira Ekadashi is a time when one great soul, Srila Prabhupada disciple, she left her material existence and went into the spiritual world. Her name is none other than Her Grace Ladini Devi Mataji. So the life and teachings of this great soul is so wonderful that it has been written down in this beautiful book called as Legacy of Love. I think some of you must have read this book. So once year 2000, His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj, he actually came from his tour of abroad, and then when he landed, on one Sunday feast, Maharaj spoke about this great devotee, Ladini Devi Mataji, her glorious Vaishnava qualities and her pure devotional service. So let us spend some time, few minutes to understand about this great soul. So Ladini Devi Mataji, her previous name was Linda. She took birth in Detroit, Michigan on 16th of January 1949. Her father was a doctor, Donald, and mother Helen, a housewife. And Linda had one brother and one sister. Donna was her sister and William was her brother. So she was very fond of animals, just like any other children. And she had a frog in her. She had a nice, beautiful lake in front of her home. There used to be a frog, and she had also named that frog called Herbie. And also, she had a dog also. She loved all these animals. And one fine day, the dog left his body because of some accident. A small 5-year-old, 6-year-old child, she actually could write a poem pouring out her feelings, which has been noted down in this beautiful book. Such a tender heart she had. And then later on she grew up, she went to college and learning academics. And in 1969, and even before that, she met Michael Ryan, and they started living together, and then they decided to get into marriage life, and they got married in 1969. Michael Ryan and Linda, they are now wedded couple. So Michael and Linda, they were living in the city of Detroit. One fine day, one Sunday, they heard devotees chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Some devotees, they were doing Harinam, chanting the holy names on the streets of Detroit. So both of them, they heard and they were surprised to hear, what is these people, who are they coming, where are they coming from, what are they speaking, what are they chanting. And then out of two, Michael took a lot of interest, and he met them, these devotees, and spoke to them, and then he understood that they are Hare Krishna people, ISKCON devotees, and then they were actually inviting devotees to come to Detroit Center and attend Sunday feast program. So he went, and of course Linda was not at all interested in those days. She said, I am not going to come, you can go and come. So he alone went to the temple in Detroit and attended the Sunday feast program. And when he met devotees for the first time, he was very much enthralled by their loving association. And of course Linda Mataji, Ladini Mataji, she was not initially taking a lot of interest, but when he started going and he started experiencing Krishna consciousness, he also thought, okay, let me also try. So she also started going to temple and met devotees, and of course, once Srila Prabhupada came, they heard directly from Srila Prabhupada, and then they were very much appreciative of Krishna consciousness. And later on, they went to the point of taking initiation by Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada initiated them, and Michael became Mahananda Prabhu, and Linda became Ladini Devi Mataji or Dasi. So as soon as they got married, both of them, especially Ladini Mataji, she was so much attracted to deity worship. Again, today's subject matter is deity worship. She took so much interest in deity worship, so she actually, where she was living in Detroit temple, there came Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra deities. And she was so much attracted to these beautiful deities. Can you imagine she could stand in front of the deities for 6 to 7 hours continuously? Huh? And just gaze upon them and just chant and just dance slowly, right, standing in front of the deities. We can't see her stand even for 5-7 minutes, is it not? And because there is some call is coming, somebody is calling, and we have our own other things to do. So we end up our prayers and then we go to our next services. But here, she is attracted to the deities to such an extent that she could stand in front of the deities, it is written in this book, for 6 to 7 hours continuously. Can anybody do that? It's just impossible. But she could do that. So that is the attraction of her towards the deities. So that reveals who she was. And then Mother Shilavati, who is a senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada in those days, she was head pujari for so many temples, because in those days devotees were less in number. Now we have 2 to 3 head pujaris in one temple, but in those days one head pujari for entire North America. She was maintaining all the temples alone. She used to visit all the temples and she would take care of the deities, instruct devotees and make sure that everything is going well. So she was doing alone. So Ladini Mataji, she thought of accompanying her, because she was very much interested in deity worship. So Mother Shilavati and Mother Ladini, they started visiting these various temples: Chicago, Miami, Atlanta, New Vrindavan, Boston, and so many other North American cities. So ultimately she decided to come down to New Vrindavan and settle there. And she saw Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Radha Vrindavan Nath, and Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, big deities, life-size deities carved by devotees of New Vrindavan. And she started living there. She decided to settle in New Vrindavan for good, and her attraction towards Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra is something unparalleled, unprecedented. So we can understand by reading this book how much she actually valued deity worship. So she used to live in old farm, Madhuvan farm in New Vrindavan. So she used to get up early in the morning, 2 o'clock, not afternoon. We also take lunch and take some nap for some time, and then we also get up 2 o'clock after finishing our 1-2 hours of good sleep. She used to get up 2 a.m., not 2 p.m. And she used to take ice cold water bath. Because in those days, it was a very poor situation, not much facilities for the devotees. She used to actually go down such a long distance, and there used to be a big barrel of water. Can you imagine the surface of the water is covered by ice? That means, can you imagine, it is freezing cold. And she had to actually break the the top layer just to get water beneath. She took bath from such cold waters, and then again go to another place. It is not that next to, it's not attached bathroom. Bathroom is somewhere and deity room is somewhere else. She had to walk down, and then she has to worship the deities. So she did 6 aratis and 6 offerings every single day. And we also have our deity worship turn. It comes once in a week. And some devotees, they are worshipping 2, 3, 4 days. The pujaris, they have to find out where are our Dear pujaris, they have to remind, they send reminders. So, by the way, you have deity worship, are you here, are you here? They ask couple of times. And then we say yes, and then last moment we forget. And then they come down, they are so merciful, they come down and they knock our doors. Prabhu, please get up. Today is your deity worship. It has happened so many times. And then we go and then we do our deity worship. This is our state of affair. Very thought-provoking. However, here we understand how Radhini Mataji was so very keen to do her deity worship. Not only that, she chopped wood for kitchen because she used to cook. Not only that, she did arati and offering. She used to cook bhoga for the lordships. It is not that she had gas connection and just turn on the gas and cook the preparations. She had to go to the jungles in New Vrindavan and chop the woods and bring the woods and start the fire and do, kitchen services. So this is how much she valued devotional. And by the way, we should understand that nobody ordered her, okay, you should do this, because this is your service, because your name is in the schedule. No. It is her own voluntary service, isn't it? Voluntarily she agreed to do this kind of an austerity and such wonderful service to their lordships. And her sadhana is that she used to get up early in the morning and after taking bath, first thing she would chant her holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. She chanted loudly and pacing to and fro. That is how she used to chant. And she chanted loudly, and always, when she was cooking for the deities, she used to always hear Prabhupada's tapes. In the background, it used to go on, and hearing Srila Prabhupada's words, she used to cook for the deities. And while dressing also, just like we also do, dressing, we have that good fortune of hearing Srila Prabhupada's tapes and do the deity worship. So this is coming in parampara, the devotees have done it in the past. And for every Ekadashi, every Ekadashi means Nirjal. No food, no water. Every Ekadashi she performed Nirjal Ekadashi. And she chanted 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita every single Ekadashi. That was her regulation. That was special offering to Lord Radha Vrindavan Chandra. And she was not only into cooking, but she was also into distribution of what she cooked for the deities. She used to cook herself and offer to the deities, and then after the offering is over, she used to keep that prasadam aside, and she would wait for the devotees to come and honor prasadam. And people, when realized that Mataji is there waiting for us to feed us, devotees used to come by their horses, because in those days they were riding horses in Vrindavan. Advaita Acharya Prabhu, his name is also mentioned. He used to come riding on the horse, and of course he was engaged in so many services. And then it was when it was 1 o'clock, 1:30, devotees would be standing in queue, and Mataji would personally serve prasadam. And so many preparations, khajas, simply wonderfuls, and cinnamon rolls, and laglus, and cauliflower pakodas, and whatnot. All these, fancy items she used to cook, and then she used to wait for devotees to come and honor prasadam. That was her love for devotees. And Ratha Yatra, the great celebration, she used to look forward to Ratha Yatra celebrations. And whenever there used to be Ratha Yatra, of course, after Snana Yatra, Jagannath goes into seclusion because he feels uneasy or having some health issues. So during that time, she used to cook special offerings for the Lord and special juices. And she used to spend a lot of time reading Leelamrit, Chaitanya Charitamrit, just in front of the deities. And spend time with the deities because it is Anavasara, that is what is known as. And her schedule is so tight, we have understood. Can you imagine, she read Srila Prabhupada's book so many times. It is written in this book, Legacy of Love, that she read so many books of Srila Prabhupada back to back, from page 1 to page last. She read Chaitanya Charitamrita, okay? 3 times. Entire Chaitanya Charitamrita. She read Bhagavatam 2 times. And Srila Prabhupada 1 time. She read entire Leelamrita for 1 time. Bhagavatam for 2 times, entire Bhagavatam, 18 cantos. Chaitanya Charitamrita is the highest 3. She read through and through 3 times. And how much time is available for us? Devotees went and asked, how you are managed to read so many books, how is it possible for you? She said, actually, whenever I have time between the 2 services, and her schedule is so tight, whenever there is time between 2 services, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, I utilize that time to read these books, Srila Prabhupada's books. That's what she said. And she lived in New Vrindavan for so long period of time, and then she ultimately decided to go to Africa, of all the places, to preach. She knew that this Africa is abundant place, hardly anybody goes there. She went there and she started preaching. And also it was horrible place to go and be there and preach. But she took personal interest to go there, and Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki jai. Sorry, I'll finish within 2-3 minutes. So thus she was there in Africa preaching. And then, of course, there are very enthusiastic devotees who are accompanying her, and they actually wrote one letter to one Mr. Johnson, who is actually hooligan, who was actually taking to devotional service slowly but surely. But then he was also very mischievous, and he actually created some trouble to the devotees. So one of the devotees wrote letter to this person, why are you doing this, how can you do this, you are becoming devotee, you should be behaving properly, all of that they gave so many instructions. And this fellow got wild, said, how can anybody instruct me? No matter who is he, who is she, even if they are devotees, I am not going to spare them. So he came with his people in one jeep and brought his gun, and actually he was willing to kill all the people. We have actually seen this in drama. Our devotee Dwarkadish Prabhu and his team of devotees, some years ago, they enacted this drama, Legacy of Love, and it is very beautifully shown there how these people came and they were about to kill all these devotees. And this Johnson came and he told that I am going to spare the ladies. Ladies can run away, but I am not going to spare the people. Prabhus. I am going to shoot them. So she had the chance to leave that place. But she was the first person to come in front of the Johnson and hold his, the long, machine gun. And she was so daring that she said, you cannot kill devotees like this, because they are so dear to the Lord. And I cannot stand here and look that you are going to kill them. He said, you please go away. Otherwise you will be shot to death. She said, okay, no problem. If you want to kill the devotees, first you kill me, because I cannot bear that you kill devotees like this. So she was so bold and she was so strong. She was willing to lay down her own life for the sake of other devotees. And nobody instructed her that you should do this, you should protect the devotees. But she understood the importance of, the protection of devotees. How much we should love devotees, that she was willing to give her own life for others' purpose. So this fellow, Johnson, a ruthless person, he actually took his machine gun and he actually shot her dead. And that was the day of September 14th, 1990. On the day of, it was the previous day of Indira Ekadashi. It all happened in the middle of the night. And the next day, the body of all the devotees and also Ladini Mataji was found nearby lake. It was the day of Indira Ekadashi, the next morning. And then devotees went and they actually found out what had happened, and then they actually recovered. And then this is how, of course, there are so many other things are mentioned in this book, but suffice to say that she led a life of total dedication and commitment to pure devotional service. And devotees, especially Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, who actually worked with her, and of course also His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, they know her very well, that they have concluded that she has gone back to the kingdom of God, spiritual world, because of her pure devotional service. And if people like her will not go to back to God, then who will go? Who should go? People like her should go back to God, and she has gone back. What is the surprise in that? So therefore, we can learn so much from these great souls. Therefore, our Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written in his beautiful poem, he says that he reasons still who says that Vaishnavas die. When thou art still living in sound, Vaishnavas die to live, and while living, try to spread the holy name around. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana ki jai, Her Grace Ladini Devi Mataji ki jai. Nidai Gaura Premanande, Hare Krishna.